Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am really excited today to talk about this topic, which is networking in the community, because it is a really big part of getting business, getting referrals, building that community. But for a lot of us, it is extremely anxiety inducing. And a lot of us, like myself, are introvert extroverts where we're okay one-on-one. We like meeting new people, but if it's a big crowd, especially if we don't know anyone, we feel super awkward. When you're starting out, definitely can feel imposter syndrome or you're just uncomfortable. You're not feeling confident. So today we're going over ways where we can build out these skills that we will use for years to come. And it's very simple. It's just knowing how to phrase things and working in a way that's best for you so that you feel confident. Now, of course, we all know that building community relationships is important. It's good for our health and it's really good for our business. So, what we want to do is we are going to build authentic relationships with the people that we actually like so that we can create referral sources. We will have someone bias or group of people that are starting out at the same level so that you can grow together. And when I first joined a networking group, it was a women's business networking group. And the founder introduced me to another florist. I was starting my floral studio at the time. And I was so mad. I was so annoyed. Like, why are you introducing me to my competitor, to the only person here that's doing what I do? Because, I wanted to meet other people, people that were ahead of me. And of course, she knew more than I did. And that became such a lifeline. It was a person we could text and ask questions to. We both were, starting out, so we knew what we were each going through to have someone on that journey. And then the best part, which I hadn't even considered, is there are going to be a lot of times when you are unavailable, you're on a trip, you can't do it, you don't want to do it, whether that you're working freelance for someone or starting your own business. And that is actually a great referral source. So when you start developing your careers or your side hustles, starting, your own company, you are going to pivot a lot. We heard that word a lot during the pandemic, but you will pivot because you are going to work on services and skills that you're naturally good at. And you will see, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? So we might start here, we might end up somewhere else within that field. And if that's the case, then you can pass on those referrals to that person. And this is something we really want to do. So we're going to meet people that are on our same journey. We're going to meet people that work above us that we aspire to. And we are going to build that community and meet people in adjacent industries so that it will become another referral resource. Okay, so today we are going over these 6 points and we are going to start small with all of them. Some might just sound silly or why are we doing this? But it's things that you don't think about until you're actually in that situation. So we're going to go over introducing yourself. And again, this seems like obvious, but when we get some questions or we feel unprepared or feel inadequate, it's really good to have these things already in your mind so that you can say it in a natural way. Next, we're going to talk about industry events. So how do we find these? Where do we go? We're going to look at different sources you can, do, as well as networking groups. As I mentioned, the business group I was in a lot of networking groups. And again, for someone that like me, I can be very extroverted, but I will feel shy at some points. And so when you join these smaller groups, whether it's within your own demographic and then a broader one, you will get used to it and it's not so bad. And then you realize that everyone's in the same position. No one actually cares about, no one cares about you. I hate to say that, But people are so concerned with themselves and how they come across, and we're so worried about what are people going to think of us. But the truth is we're really only thinking about ourselves. And once you realize that, it gives that freedom and like, okay, everyone kind of feels the same way. And if they are judging, then so what? So what? Who cares? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Next, we are going to talk about getting a mentor. I've had mentors, they are invaluable, but where do you get one? Where do you find one? So, we will talk about numerous ways. There are free resources like um, your local chamber of commerce. There's the Small Business Administration has SCORE, that's an acronym where retired entrepreneurs volunteered their time to help you out. And I first did that when I started my business, and they told me exactly what to do, what not to do, the bare bones, and that helped. Next, we're going to talk about working with novices, as I mentioned, the people starting out, and we will find ways to reach out to these people and then teaming up with pros. These are people that you would want to work with, that you aspire to be, and you always want to piggyback on someone else's success, right? They're already up here. So if I'm associated with them, that brings me up to that level. If I have something that I can show on a portfolio or state or put on my resume or a speaker bio, these are really good things. And we are going to show how we are bringing some unique skill, something they might need or not have considered. And that way we can make that connection and we're offering something. My favorite thing to do is it's a sort of form of habit stacking where you are doing two things that you don't normally want to do, and you're getting it done at once. So, for example, if you are reaching out to someone that you want to work with or a peer, hey, I saw your website, it really resonated. I feel the same way. I do this kind of work. It would be so great to meet. And then people are generally responsive to that. And then you can say, hey, I saw there's this networking event that's happening. It's by us. Would you like to meet there? So now you have a buddy and you're there. And as we know, so much of this is about just showing up, right? You are here today. You showed up. That was the hardest part. That was really the hardest part. You can always leave. And I still tell myself that I can always leave. I just have to go. So say you meet up with someone and then you go to a networking group and you don't really care for them or it's just not working. You can always leave. You can always say, actually, I have to go, or so nice meeting you. Or you might find someone else there that you really click with. And then that's your story of how you met and how you can build relationships. So these are all ways, and I'm very excited to be discussing it. Okay, so our first topic, introducing yourself. As I mentioned, it's kind of like, yeah, obvious. But we have all been there. We have all felt, awkward. I used to feel like I was in a middle school just dance, like the nerd that I was, and just sort of a wallflower. And I remember one time I was at a wedding industry event, right? And I made myself show up. And then someone just came right up to me and said, hi, I'm Tara. And she was a really, really successful makeup artist. I was like, hi. I felt a sense of relief. And we actually ended up becoming good friends. We went to New York together. And she's just a person that you can always reach out to. Those friends you can see after like 10 years. It was like that. So I appreciated that. And that stayed with me. And so we are going to do the same. And it's really as simple as saying, hi, I'm Carly. So what you are going to do is you're going to look around, find another person that is just standing there, whether they look bored or just, in need of someone. And we're going to go up to them. And it is important to always smile. I learned this when I was doing my first live TV appearance because I would always go in very nervous and just, yeah. And that's how I felt. I was doing my first live TV appearance, and the hosts made me laugh. They just made me laugh. And so when they said my name and I came on, I was already smiling, and I realized, oh, That's all I have to do to make myself feel comfortable and be engaging. So just go in with a smile, look into their eyes, and just say, "Hi, I'm Carly." Now, I usually will wait to do a handshake because I want them to lead. And they will naturally say, "Oh, I'm so and so." And then you get into the where are you from or what are you doing here? So, right now, this is going to feel uncomfortable, but we're going to all do it together. And we are just going to turn and introduce ourselves to our make believe friend. And we will all look a little crazy together. So, I want everyone to do that. Okay, so we're going to go look, see around, walk up. Hi, I'm Carly. That's it. That everyone did it. Did you do it? If you didn't, that's okay. So the next question will naturally be, like I said, what are you doing here? What do you do? It will always be, what do you do? Now, we will talk about elevator pitches and really how to sell yourself or your business or what you're doing. And for this introduction, I'm going to call it sort of an informal or more casual elevator pitch where we say what we do, but in a natural way. Now, we will do something similar for cold emailing where we're getting across, in writing very clear what we do, why we do it, what we specialize in. But for this, we're going to practice it and develop it so that it comes off as natural. And I will always say generally the same thing. I will say in a different order. It doesn't get something, that's fine. But this is really important to have prepared because when people would ask me, I would flounder kind of, and I wouldn't know how to express myself. So we need to know our skill set. And this is going to take a lot of brainstorming. I mean, this is something that will evolve and change as you grow and as you see what you like or what's making money or what the best referral source is, right? But it will all follow the same sort of pattern. And we really want to come off authentic. I was actually volunteering at a business conference last year, which also is a great way to meet people, get behind the scenes, and you don't have to pay. And this girl came up to me and she was so salesy. Like her, what do you do? Just came off so salesy and it really rubbed me the wrong way. It was just like, I don't I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to do business with you. And she asked to do lunch. It's like, okay, no. So we don't want to come across as that. So the whole, what do you do? We need to be specific. And the best way to be specific is to say what you specialize in. That way it's a word that differentiates you and that you can also remember. So I used to say, I own a florist or I am a florist. And we don't want to do that. We want to give an idea to someone so that they know what we do and how they can refer us. And that is very important. Also makes you look more credible and it gives something for you to feel more confident in what you're doing. Because just saying, I own a car detailing business. Okay, what does that mean? Are you mobile? Do you have a location? What do you specialize in? What kind of cars? How affordable are you? So these are all things that people want to know. Otherwise, they'll be like, oh, cool. So instead of I own a florist, I would say I own a floral design studio and we mainly specialize in flower walls, installations, and large scale events. So that gives a person an idea of what we do. Then we want to say, and again, this can be in any order, I'm just going over the points, but a geographical location. So again, I used to say I live in LA or I'm in Venice Beach. And that's not truly accurate to where I work. So I could say, like right now, I live in Nashville, but I have studios in LA and New York, and we will travel for really wherever someone wants to pay, you know. So instead of saying I live in Los Angeles or I live in Venice Beach or I work in Venice, you would say I live in LA, but we do weddings in all of Southern California from Santa Barbara to Palm Springs to San Diego. We cover that whole region. And you want to give a visual map. So even if you are working remote, you could say, I live in Cincinnati, but I work remotely. I mainly work with companies that are overseas. So I really do better in this time zone or early mornings, anything like that. So you can just specify the hours and show that you're not just local to right there. We're all willing to go, right? If someone's paying, we will go. Next is the referral sources. So you want to share where you're getting your referrals from. So instead of saying, I do corporate events, and then that makes people think that corporations hire you, which they could, but where do you mainly get referrals? And for me, it was PR firms and marketing agencies. And that way, people, especially as you go to these networking things and build sort of an entrepreneurial community, whether that's online, so many relationships can be online or in person, you are giving a sense of how they can refer you. And a lot of people say, oh, well, my friend works at this agency. Have you worked with them? No, but I'd love to meet them. Yeah, could you do an intro or could I get their email? That would be great. Thank you so much. So I would say I mainly get hired by PR firms and marketing agencies. And then you put it all together. So as you can see, I would just say, hi, I'm Carly. Nice to meet you. Oh, what do you do? What do you do? I own a floral design studio. We specialize in flower walls, installations, large scale events, stuff like that. More bigger stuff now. And mainly PR firms and marketing agencies hire us for product launches or influencer events. I'm based in LA and New York, but really I will go anywhere. So that is more natural way to answer what do you do. It can be a mouthful. So of course, I'm not just rattling that off so fast. You're having a conversation and you will say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I know someone in there. It has to be reciprocal, right? Now we are going to brainstorm. Okay, so I want everyone to just on your computer or grab a piece of paper, anything, and we are going to get all of our ideas out because I know some of us know where we're going, what we want to do. We came here with a really good vision. Others of us are sort of feeling a little lost, honestly. And I want you to know that you are not alone in that feeling. I took a couple of years off school, so I went to U of A. I moved to California on my own, took a couple of years off, decided I wanted to go back to school, went to community college, and then transferred to UCLA. So I had a zigzag path. And that whole time, I thought, what am I going to do? I ended up studying psychology because I wanted to study something that I really loved, which is psychology. I still love it. But I did know I wanted to be my own boss, have my own schedule. And I had just happened by chance to work at some flower shops. So I just want you to be assured that not all of us know what we're doing or where we're going, and we didn't all change our minds a lot. So this is just a simple brainstorming session. Now, in the chat, I want you to either write what you are going to do, what some specialized skills are, or if you have questions. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and for those that have questions, I will give some examples because I know a lot of you will feel the same way. And a lot of this translates to different industries. So I don't want you to think about this as just you're starting your own company. This is really for whatever you're doing now or something small. We all start small. Everyone starts small. Jeff Bezos started small, as we all know. So we all come from somewhere. So whether this is a side hustle you've been thinking about or you're working on, or you want to expand your current job, maybe you want to switch positions or a dream position or a dream career, feel free to write that down, write them all down. And then what we will do in this process is we are going to keep editing it down, right? So we will take out any repetitive words. We will say it out loud, very important because what you write down will sound very different than when you actually speak it. And then when you're just rolling off your tongue a million times, because you will as we start going to different events. Again, whether that's online, on a Zoom, or in person, you will say this informal elevator pitch a lot. And we are going to just change the order into whatever feels comfortable. So we are going to go ahead and start that portion right now. Please enter in the chat, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone is up to. Thank you.